There's only one rule that applies to what's about to take place, and it is a rule that I will strictly enforce. I will not tolerate any booing or hissing, not even if you direct it at the candidates. Okay? So let's get it done. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Republican candidate for governor, Scott Wagner. Seated, gentlemen. Mr. Wagner, you won the toss, so you get to make the first opening statement, please.
Is the prize $4.5 million possible?
No, Brad Rutter, and Brad will be coming back this year to compete for even more money in the Jeopardy All-Stars. But go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here tonight. Listen, I never thought 5.5 years ago I'd ever be doing this standing on the stage in front of all of you. But you know, life has its twists and turns, and Tracy, my lovely wife, is with me tonight. We never thought we'd be doing this. But you know what, as a business person, growing up on a farm, working hard, building my businesses, discovering how difficult it was to operate a business, create jobs in Pennsylvania, I made a decision to run for the state senate in 2014. And I served in the state senate 4 years and left this past January to pursue this path. When I went to Harrisburg, my expectation of Harrisburg was that it needed help and it needed guidance and it needed leadership. And it was very apparent quickly on that we do not have that leadership in place. So I made a decision to run for this office to be the next governor of Pennsylvania. I grew up on a farm. I'm a blue-collar guy. The governor, a very different upbringing and a very different lifestyle than mine. So we'll talk about the issues tonight, but I'm honored to be here and be in front of all of you and talk about what's really going on in Pennsylvania. Tonight is about the people of Pennsylvania. Those are the people that we have to believe in, we serve, and we need to help make their lives better. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you for moderating this, and I want to thank the Chamber team, for hosting this, and Scott, thank you for running. That's what happens in a democracy, and I appreciate that you're doing this. This is really a referendum on where we were, and where we want to be, where we want to go. And when I got to Harrisburg as governor, I've been in politics now for 3 years and 8 months, 3.5 years. And when I got to Harrisburg, we were not invested in education. Since I've been governor, we've invested historic amounts in education. We've invested in health care. We have almost 750,000 people who now have health insurance who didn't have it just 3 years ago. And we're doing something to address the terrible opioid epidemic that's facing Pennsylvania. But I've done this in a financially responsible way, balanced the budget. I made a deposit in the rainy day fund for the first time in over a decade, back in July. And I'm doing it with ethics and integrity. I don't take my salary. I actually pay my own way in state business. We have a gift band in the executive branch. I am doing these things because I think public service is something different than anything else we do. And so this election is about that. Do we want to continue on this path? Do we want to continue doing the same thing we've been doing for the last 3.5 years? I'm hoping that I get the privilege of serving for another 4 years so that I can keep moving Pennsylvania forward. Thank you very much.
Like you two are in competition for the Civility Award next year. Governor, you've got the job, so I'm going to direct the first question at you. I sense there is a certain amount of tension in this hall right now, so let's see if we can break it. Early this year, shortly after the Super Bowl, you got a pretty positive reaction from the audience when you uttered the words, "Fly, Eagles, fly." And that started me thinking. So please, sir, tell me the name of the starting defensive lineman for the Eagles, who has won 2 consecutive Super Bowls, each one with a different team.
question.
Right now, there are people in this room who are sitting there saying, what on earth is going on here? You and Mr. Wagner have come here tonight to talk about politics and policies, and here comes Trebek straight out of left field with a question about football. That was unfair, and I understand it. I don't like ambush journalism, but I did it for a reason, and the reason is that a very famous Californian filmmaker once, who had put together some very nasty films about a politician running for office in the California gubernatorial election. And when he was taken to task for that, he said, back off. In politics, nothing is unfair. So I'd like to hear your thoughts on that statement.
Yeah, I disagree with that. I think things have to be fair in politics. And I think we heard from the president of Allegheny College, one of the issues and one of the challenges we have in our democracy is that we have to make it civil. We have to make it attractive for people to want to come in and exchange ideas and not feel they're going to get blasted for doing it. Politics has to be, especially in a democracy, we have to make it civil. We have to make it the kind of enterprise that people want to get involved in. The kids at Allegheny College are not different from the kids anywhere else. They look at politics as we are right now and say, why do I want to get involved? I think the way we ought to do this is look at this like a Venn diagram. There are two circles. There are two different people, two different sets of ideas, but there's an overlap. And it's our choice as to whether we choose to focus on the things that distinguish us or the things that bring us together, where we might find some compromise.
Well, has money become a corrupting influence in our political campaigns?
I think it has. I think that's why I'm calling for campaign finance reform in Pennsylvania. I think that's really important. We need to neutralize the impact of money so that we can actually get back to challenge each other's ideas.
But I think these people all know that you've raised a tremendous amount of money for your campaign. Mr. Wagner, you came through a very rough primary earlier this year. You were called sleazy, deadbeat dad. A piece of legislation you had co-sponsored was misrepresented by one of your opponents. At one point, your daughter came out in public to defend you. Has politics become too much of a blood sport?
Absolutely. It's become disgusting. Listen, I came to Harrisburg in 2014. People, Governor Wolf's campaign, their communications director called me the worst of Harrisburg. I came to Harrisburg to ask questions, and I don't get answers. So I drill down. I want to continue to get answers. The people of Pennsylvania are not being served, and the ugliness of politics has gotten off the charts. You know, Governor Wolf talks about reforming the political system. Well, Governor Wolf takes $1 million from this entity, mainly all government unions. He took $1.2 million from a pharmacy pack in Philadelphia, but then turned around and vetoed a piece of legislation that continued to allow opioids to be dispensed when we have a heroin opioid crisis. I mean, Governor Wolf's taken over $10 million from special interests. One union specifically, $1.9 million. I'm not getting checks at $25, $10, $50, $100. I've been labeled as that I'm owned by special interests and I'm an insider. Trust me, I'm far from an insider. It has become that the people of Pennsylvania deserve to be served, and they're not being served. And the system, I'd say the system is pretty corrupt.
Yeah, but you have bought into the system to a certain extent. There's been a great deal of trash talking back and forth between both of you. You've called him a liar. He's called you a liar. You've called him gutless.